With allegation after allegation,
and a boundary was crossed completely.
can this humble show about love survive yet another scandal? And will the downfall of UK MAFS bring Australia down with it? The show, not the country. Plus, we have to fill in the gaps of what the documentary missed, because let's say it, Panorama, this was weak as piss. You threw a bunch of shit at the wall hoping that something would stick, but you didn't really dig down on it, did you?
Is there a darker side to Married at First Sight UK?
We'll get to the allegations in a moment, but this might be your first time seeing the channel, and if it is, hello, I'm Wilko, and I am by no means an expert on anything in this world. But if there was something that I have a little bit of knowledge on, it's reality TV, and on top of that, I have watched and commented on an ungodly amount of Married at First Sight. MAFS UK and Australia have followed a similar trajectory. They've both started as wildly different shows. And in the AU version, season 1, it only had 6 episodes. It was really like a mini doc, a social experiment, if you will. And it focused on matching 2 people in an arranged marriage to see what would happen. Still, not legally married like some versions of the show.
Someone order a husband?
Arranged marriages in the world have been happening, obviously, well, pretty much forever. And it's not always for compatibility on personality and romance, but more likely for wealth, land, and political motives. And with reality TV, we've had so many shows that try and feature this as more of a scientific matchmaking approach.
To find out about your compatibility, here's Dexter.
Thank you so very much indeed. I'm firing on all diodes tonight, and I've come to the conclusion that your perfect match with a compatibility score of 71% is Colin Donald.
Did everyone have Dexter the robot? You know what? Robots haven't come that far. In the 2015 version of Married at First Sight in Australia, it focused on 4 couples, and it seemed like they were really trying to make it work. This all changes in season 4, and it's thanks to this woman, Tara McWilliams, and she is the architect of all the trash, mess, and drama that we like to gobble up. It is clear that this lady will do anything, no matter the cost to the humans who sign up for the show, for the ratings.
Hey, I'll crown you the king of the experiment.
Ooh, here comes the crowning ceremony.
That's what you are. You're the king of the experiment, and you are the queen. You know what? You're the queen.
Oh!
Yuck!
Oh, that's so gross.
You can hear.
Fake tears, Rebecca. Like your Instagram likes.
Oh, wow. Well, if anyone would know fake Insta followers. She was put in as the executive producer and is now even the director of content for the whole production company that makes the show for Channel 9.
When you meet her, you want her on your good side, like you want to impress her. There's just like something about the way that she carries herself like that. You know that telling her no is going to be one of the worst things that you've ever done in your life.
The show is now engineered to be TV crack. Like the shock of the show feeds our dopamine. And instead of it being like traditional reality where we're used to watching for the characters and the conversations, with a decent drama dopamine hit per episode, MAFS now feeds us hit after hit every single episode, generally multiple times between each ad break, making sure we stay focused as long as possible because our broken little scrolling brains demand such things to keep our attention. I'm not excusing what Tara has done, but she figured out that manipulating edits and feeding participants lines to get the story that she wanted has made the show far more addictive, and that's why it's as popular as it is today. We love it because of how it makes us feel. We're enraged that so-and-so said a thing and we cannot wait to jump online to share our feelings about it. I'm not throwing stones. I have a whole channel dedicated to it. Every single season, it's a very common story from the cast that a producer, Tara, sorry, I've got to cough over the name. Anyway, I'll never get that right. This producer will come in and tell the people in the cast that they're being boring and they can't leave until the drama has been created. So while the show isn't scripted, it is entirely manipulated. So the producers, they have a storyline, they have all their characters, and they're going to try and follow it as best they can. Threats of legal actions, of villain edits being thrown someone's way, this is how producers get what they want. And for everyone who's outraged about Married at First Sight, this behaviour isn't exclusive to MAFS. This is most reality TV. The show Unreal, it exists for a reason. That's why they had so much content for all those seasons.
So this is a setup, and I'm the old desperate one.
So you have these real people behind these sort of manufactured stories of what producers feel like people should be.
The reason I brought up Tara is because we have her to thank for the UK version of MAFS that we now know. In 2021, they adopted Tara's version of the format, which is now so far away from the original concept. Reality shows have always had and will always have scandal. This is why we watch. It's our modern day Colosseum. We find people that we want to root for and people that we love to hate. And just like motorsport, we're also waiting for a huge crash. It is wired in us. Sadly, both the UK and Australian versions of Married at First Sight have become increasingly baffling for us that actually pay attention because of how manipulated it is. Last season in the UK, the storyline between Ashley and Grace was wildly confusing.
Yikes. Oh, I'm not really feeling it.
Come on in, mate.
Sorry.
Grace apparently also doesn't like fun. She definitely came across as someone who didn't like fun. And she was married off to Ashley, whose character was salt-of-the-earth good guy who likes to have a joke, and both of them were just unlucky in love. Oh, what a perfect match. All Grace needed was a good guy to just like loosen her uptight ways. And Ashley needed, well, no fixing because apparently he was perfect. Early on, even in their first episodes as a couple at the wedding, Grace was very stressed at the whole experience. And we all wondered, why did you come here?
I'm not really sure why I'm being quite as wobbly as I am right now. I can't put my finger on it.
I don't know if you watched the season, but I was always so confused at what the real issue was between these two. They would be good for a time and then something would happen, something like weird. Remember the whole toilet thing? Like he tried to break into the toilet?
I would go to the toilet and lock the door, and Ash would get something from the kitchen, I guess, and unlock it.
I mean, we still have questions about it. Anyway, the narrative just kind of rinsed and repeated it until it was so untenable that they never wanted to be in the same room again. I guess it was put down to just Grace being hard work, and all we really saw from Grace's edit was that she'd make a mountain out of a molehill, but there was always a sense of, is there more here that we're not seeing? And that's the problem with MAFS. There's so much that we don't see. Like with these series, the reason that they work, I guess, is because we'll never actually know the truth. Take this episode of Panorama, which is called The Dark Side of Married at First Sight. And it's not lying, it really does shed light on some of the most fucked up allegations ever in any versions of this show. The sad part is, for anyone who has watched Married at First Sight, they're not hard to believe.
When we were alone in the apartment, he kept bruising me during sex. I kept saying stop. He said that if I told anybody what had happened, that he would get someone to throw acid at me.
For the three women who have come forward in the doc, the common theme is lack of consent and assault, sexual assault. Oh, plus the huge failure of production to address these issues when they're brought to light. You've got cast members saying that there is a lack of support and protection, and then you've got the production companies saying that they have ticked all the legal boxes they need to as a show, which might be one of the biggest issues here. Getting into the specifics of each case, that isn't our job. Also, to the super sleuths, who are online trying to figure out the identity of the women who wanted to stay anonymous. I mean, why? Why are you doing that? How does that help alleged victims? I mean, for fuck's sake, stop. Every version of the franchise has had their own unique allegations. Aggressive behavior, coercive control, manipulation, participants being held against their will. This is from cast member to cast member and also from cast members to producers, because the producers are also doing some shit to get what they want. In the Australian version, it has been investigated multiple times now, and clearly what the production company is doing isn't illegal because nothing happens after each dig from the governing bodies. Another problem to add to the list, the so-called safeguards are really paper thin. Oh, and if you want to know the outcome of those investigations, SafeWork Australia issued 3 improvement notices to Channel 9 following the 2025 complaints about contestants' psychological well-being. SafeWork was also heavily involved in reviewing the show's future, and Channel 9 reportedly took these recommendations very seriously. So they make some recommendations which really isn't going to change the level of safety in the show. I mean, they've put in some stronger background checks, but that should be a no-brainer when you have frequently cast people with criminal records. How the fuck does that happen? So many people have been calling for the end of this show because we can all see where it's headed, and yet we watch season after season. So what actually needs to change for this show to survive? Firstly, let's talk about casting. The production companies involved in both the UK and Australia need to stop casting for destruction and drama. You know what? The drama is going to happen no matter what you do. So you shouldn't deliberately pair people who are clearly going to obviously hate each other. We can see when you do it. It's so obvious to us now. Like, you knew that Steph wasn't going to be a little submissive to Tyson, even though they might have agreed on some politics and some things. She was never going to be the little kept woman.
I still think the boss bitch energy is still there.
You also do psych evals. You crow all the time about the psych evals that you do. So you pretty much know who these people are going to be. Don't bullshit us otherwise. This is going to sound really obvious. I don't know if I need to say it. Have I said it already? Don't cast criminals and people who have toxic and abusive traits. I think that would really help the show. Like, vet them, like proper background check vetting. Oh, and here's what you shouldn't do. Don't pair the most toxic one you can find with the one who has been a doormat in all of their previous relationships. You do it again and again every season. Overproducing. You need to stop with your planned storylines and trying to get cast members to do what you want. Just let them be who they are. We all know that you're still going to have clashes with personalities within the group. It happens in every family and workplace and social setting across the world. Drama will happen. You don't need to try so hard. This one also seems really simple, but if someone makes a complaint about their partner, address it. And if it's a very serious allegation, then they should be removed from the show. Now, this has actually happened a couple of times before, so you can't say that production companies do nothing. MAFS AU for season 13 removed a couple because one half, Micah, was accused of being violent to his ex with some accusations on TikTok.
However, I was shook, like I did cry, because it was hard to ever think of myself like that in terms of me being painted in that way. And it was upsetting. I cried for probably a couple of hours, and then I went back to my room, and then they obviously told Ankita, and I was just waiting in the room. And obviously I was upset for obviously what was going on and what was being arised, but we're on honeymoon, we're getting closer. We had a really strong connection and genuine connection at the wedding.
I'll be honest, what comes on social media or what people show on social media, sometimes it's not always true.
These were allegations with zero proof, but Endemol and Channel 9 removed them from all of the episodes that they'd already filmed. It is crazy to me that production dropped them like a hot pie, both of them. Like, even if the things about Micah were true, which he has denied, why did we dump the bride as well? She didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, you could have just said, oh, we had some accusations about the guy, so we put her in the mix again. With the allegations from MAFS UK, you certainly can't have someone walking around being abusive and making threats and just trying to glaze over that, knowing that you're going to delete it from the edit later on.
One morning, he'd said, should we have sex? And I said no. He smirked, climbed on top of me, moved my leg, and just proceeded to have sex with me anyway.
These shows already have welfare teams in place, but here's another big thing. These teams need to be separate from production. You know what I mean? Like, they need to be hired by a governing body and production pay them, but production don't control them. Then maybe the cast in all reality shows won't be afraid to speak up freely while this stuff is happening. Also, the NDAs, they need to ease up. Currently, the productions do everything they can to silence participants, and that isn't a great look. Like, ruining the show before it airs is something that you should be protecting, but if something has happened to someone, they need to be able to speak up without fear of an NDA. Also, Married at First Sight, you need to make this conversation open about the whole sharing beds and rooms and do they want to kiss on the lips at the altar? All this stuff needs to be discussed beforehand, and each party needs to know before going into it. At least make it clear to them so they know that they don't have to share a bed or a room with someone. Also, if they don't want to be touched right away, don't pressure them into it.
I just don't want to. I'm not loving it.
With all this, we need to remember that not every person who makes an allegation about any reality show is being truthful. And I would love to say that people don't lie about such things, but we know that they do. I'm not saying that the women who have come forward are lying at all in regards to this Panorama documentary, but I know cast members really do bullshit a lot about their time on the show just to get headlines, and also for them to play the victim narrative to turn the public opinion after some of their actions on the show. Here is my biggest suggestion, and it's going to make some people really fight me online, so get ready. I think, like Big Brother, everything needs to be recorded and kept by law. At the very least, audio. Record everything, what the cast say to each other and also what the producers say to them. So when things are coming to light, there is a legal record of what happened. I know it happened in the most recent season. I feel weird about cast being recorded in bathrooms. That would clearly just be audio only, but ultimately safety and accountability is far more important. And I think this measure will make the truly shit humans who weasel their way onto the show think twice. I wonder if you feel the same, but I've really struggled watching and commenting on this show over the last couple of years because of how much it doesn't make sense. And a while ago, I came to the verdict that if you sign up for this show, you have really no leg to stand on when you complain about how your edit plays out, because there is so much evidence for you to make an informed decision before you sign up to Married at First Sight. In saying that, nobody should be in an unsafe environment, And if any of these recent allegations are true, then bottom line is production have failed and they need to own it. The production company behind MAFS UK have maintained that they followed all guidelines, and Channel 4, which airs MAFS UK, released a statement claiming they have commissioned an external review of the show. And also, the new CEO said this: "I want to express my sympathy to contributors who have clearly been distressed after taking part in Married at First Sight UK. The well-being of our contributors is always of paramount importance. It would be wholly inappropriate for me to comment on what are very serious allegations made against some MAFS UK contributors. Those allegations, which I understand are disputed by the contributors accused, are not something that Channel 4 is in a position to adjudicate on. We are also mindful of our ongoing duty of care to all contributors and the need to preserve the anonymity and privacy of all involved. On the claims that Channel 4 may have failed in its duty of care, I believe that when concerns about contributor welfare were raised and based on the information available at the time, Channel 4 acted quickly, appropriately, sensitively, and with well-being front and centre." And I don't know if I made this clear, but these are not criminal accusations. These women who have made these allegations have not decided to go and report it to police. And part of me can really understand why you wouldn't do that, considering that you'd be thinking, well, I'm up against it. There's no evidence. It's a he said, she said situation. So what's the point in me ruining my life, going to police and nothing happening? But also part of me is like, well, if these people are despicable, I don't want them out in the world being fucking gross humans. And it kind of sucks that they'll never really be held accountable. All episodes, every single one of Married at First Sight UK have been removed from streaming platforms in Australia and the UK. So people don't try and dig around and figure out exactly who the women are who made the allegations, which aren't going to stop people, but I'm glad it'll make it harder. Also, there are some reports that the 2026 season of MAFS UK won't be aired. That's been denied by Channel 4. And I think a lot of people have already forgotten that they've already commissioned Married at First Sight, I guess Married at Second Sight. Is that what they're going to call it? It's the second chance show. It's going to have participants from the Australian show and the UK show. So even though a lot of people think this show is going to be canned, I think there's too much money involved in it now. Here's the real problem with MAFS UK and Australia. Today, it's gone too far down manipulated boulevard that the show has backed itself into a corner, and without the over-the-top storylines, they're going to lose viewers and talkability. But Channel 9 and Channel 4, you both need to bring back the reality to the show. You know how it's called a reality show? We need actual reality. Stop overproducing every fucking second of it. And you know what? It's either the show stops its cast coercion and story manipulation, or something far worse is going to happen. We've seen it on other reality shows. It will happen here. Hey, in the comments below, I would love to know your thoughts about the future of the franchises in Australia and the UK. And I'd love to know if you've decided to ditch MAFS altogether. Comment below and make sure you have liked and subscribed to this channel. If you have, you may leave. I'll see you in the next one.